All right, welcome everyone to the webinar today. Before we start, let me know if the audio is working. I'm just going to double check all the settings to make sure that the microphone is working and everything is as it should. We have a lot to talk about today, so it's going to be a very interesting live stream and a webinar here with you all. So if you can just confirm that the audio is working, I would be super happy about that. But I'm going to go straight into it, and I'm sure that if you can hear me, I will be notified in the comments. All right, interesting few days we've had in the markets here for sure. And while you're all here, make sure that you do hit that like and subscribe to the channel so we can activate that YouTube algorithm and get more people into this show. While I'm going to go through the intro here and introduce you to the live stream, let me know, guys, where you are all from. And as I say in the comments, if you do have any questions about the platform, you are more than welcome to reach out to support. That's the best way to reach to get help with anything you need. So yeah, it's been a massive 24 hours in the markets, or should I say maybe, I don't know, 48 hours. It's, well, maybe 12 months. It's been insane, you know, with Trump behind the wheel. There's no shortage of surprises here in the market. Now, yesterday we had the Fed decision, the FOMC, then we had three big tech earnings as well, and gold just hit another all-time high above 5,500, right now trading around 5,540-ish. So an insane move on gold, and we are of course going to be looking at that as well. So just to recap for those who are haven't been active in the markets or in the news lately, we did see yesterday that the Fed kept the rate unchanged as expected. We had two members who wanted to cut rates, but the majority voted to hold. And Powell said that the economy is on firm footing. Basically, things are stable enough that they might not need to rush into cutting rates. Now, markets are expecting maybe two cuts later this year, probably around June and December. But we all know that things can change. And something interesting here, you know, it's that Powell only has two FOMC meetings left before his term will end in May. So there are a lot of uncertainty about what is going to be happening after that. And on that note, a lot of people are thinking in terms of, you know, Fed independence. There's a lot of uncertainty around that as well, which could be, you know, one of the subjects we're going to be talking about when we look at gold. Now, let me bring up the PrimeXPT PX Trader platform here, and I'm going to walk you through the stocks that we had earnings from and what happened. And yes, you can trade these stocks on PrimeXPT too. So it's not yet Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto. It's all the markets out there, and you can trade using the PX Trader platform. You can trade. You got the shares, you got commodities, you got crypto, Forex, and indices. And of course, we also have the PX Trader 2, which was previously the crypto futures platform. It's been rebranded, and that is a step towards the direction that we're going here with PrimeXPT. We're going to be building a unified platform. It's going to be, I wish I could give you more details on what we're building here, but it's going to be really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to show you all what we've been working on. So first we had Microsoft, right? We had, what is Microsoft? Microsoft is right here. We had Microsoft, they actually beat expectations, but the stock dropped. I think it dropped like 5 to 7% around the earnings. Now, why does something like that happen? Well, it does happen because we have, now of course the market is closed here, so we'll have to wait it for the markets to open. Then of course we have you can look at the extended hours, of course, as well, but I'm looking at the daily chart right here. Now, investors, they get a little bit worried about their cloud business slowing down, and they're because they're spending huge amount on AI infrastructure. Now, sometimes a company can beat expectations and still drops, and that's just how the markets do move. And then we got Meta. Okay, Meta had a great quarter. Stock jumped up about 10%, I believe, and that was really strong results. And they had a really strong outlook for the next quarter, and investors really love that earnings report. And then we have Tesla, which you can also trade with us here on Prime XBT. All of these three big names all had their earnings coming out yesterday. And if you're a crypto native trader, things like this should get you excited. And yes, we're going to be looking at gold. I know you all want me to look at gold, but things like this, even if you're trading gold or crypto, things like this should get you excited, because news like that, we don't get that in crypto. So if you learn how to trade these news, you can potentially develop an edge where you did not have in crypto. Now, these three companies, three very different reactions, and that's just the earnings seasons. It creates big move, and that means opportunity as a trader if you are ready for it. And also, speaking of volatility, we have the earnings seasons. It's one of the key drivers of volatility in both traditional markets and can be in crypto as well. And when you see Microsoft drop 70% on a earnings beat, and the volatility that we had 2 days ago during Trump's speech, and then FOMC, the Fed rate yesterday, that's the kind of move that really will test your broker's conditions. And we're very happy to say that our conditions on the platform stayed very stable during all of these events, compared to a lot of other brokers out there who adjust their spreads accordingly to kind of protect themselves, right? But here at Prime XBT, we are all about giving the traders the best conditions possible. So you need to go to the platform and check out the spreads during these events. And also at 1:30 UTC today, which is in about 20 minutes or so, we got the US jobs data dropping live right here. And we will be looking at the reaction in real time across gold, EUR USD, and NASDAQ. Now, if you trade crypto, the skills that will work with crypto will work just as well in these markets. And right now, this is where the action is. Look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum. It's boring. All right, it's boring, but all how to trade technicals and all of that in crypto, easily translated into traditional markets as well. And that's why you should be very excited about the future of the Prime XBT platform and the current platform we have right now, where you can use your crypto as collateral and trade these markets using the exact same skill as you're using trading Bitcoin. All right. Let's hop over to gold. Who's ready for gold? Let me know in the comments. Are you interested in gold, or maybe we should just skip gold? I don't know. Maybe you're not interested in gold. Maybe we should take a look at something like orange juice. It's actually been going crazy. If you don't know about that, we're not going to look at orange juice. Don't worry. Obviously, we're going to look at gold. But if you have a chart, after the webinar, check orange juice. Wow, it's crazy. Orange juice futures, insane. Not a market I recommend trading, but it's interesting to watch. Okay, here we go. This is gold. Now I'm just gonna go to the daily right here. I'm gonna zoom out. Yeah, just a moment of silence to appreciate this. Crazy. Now, as you know, gold just broke about 5,500. It nearly doubled in the past year, which is just insane, right? And silver topped 120 for the first time ever. Now, this is a historic move. We haven't really seen anything like this in a very long time, and just a few times in the history of these two metals. Now, the dollar is weak, right? It's at a 4-year low. And when the dollar drops, gold tends to rise because gold is priced in dollar. But it's not just that simple. It also has a lot to do with the debasement trade, right? And that is, the debasement trade, simply put, is currencies losing its value, and people are moving into gold because fiat currencies are not looking as stable as they once were. Central banks and governments are buying like crazy, okay? Big countries like, well, basically all the bigger countries out there, China being one of the strongest buying one, I believe, they're all loading up on gold. They're buying about 3 times more than they did before 2022, and a lot of this has to do with geopolitical uncertainty amongst other things. And speaking of uncertainty, there's also, like I mentioned previously, a lot of questions about what happens with the Fed after Powell leaves in May, plus concerns about US debt level. People are uncertain, and that's when they buy gold. So let's look at a couple of key levels here for gold. It's really amazing to me that when we had a live stream that feels that not that long ago, I talked about how I had a running position. We entered the position live, I believe, around the beginning of November last year. And it's not really that far, back in time. But from that entry, gold is up over 35%, 36% to be exact. And that is just crazy for an asset like gold. So the levels that I have here on the chart, and as a swing trader and then a position trader, I usually have these levels for quite a long time on the chart before I have to add new ones. But as we're seeing right here, gold is going absolutely parabolic, and it kind of reminds me of what we had back here in October, September, October of last year. And eventually we had a dip. And if you guys remember, this was the time when people were lining up outside gold stores to buy physical gold. That happened just days before this drop. Will we see something similar? Well, if we do see something similar, there's going to be alarm bells going off here, right? Surely people will be thinking that it's time to potentially position for that on gold. But let me write out some interesting levels right here. Let me just add a just give me a second here. I just need to reload trading view because it's lagging a little bit. All right, perfect. I think it's all good now. So as you can see here, I definitely see gold being in a state of parabolic trend right here. And if we look at it from a 4 hours perspective, it kind of looks like the trend goes from that nice 45-degree angle is straight up 9 degrees. And it's not going to go backwards, right? So eventually, it can't just go straight up forever. Eventually, it's going to pull back. But am I looking to short this? Not really. Not really looking to short this because there's so much fundamental power behind this move, and it doesn't really seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Can we have a intermediate pullback? Of course we can. That's always a possibility. And looking at the levels right here, we can see that low, we hit this one right here. Well, around the level of that one, we had a breakout level right here, hit it right here, breakout level here, no retest, and a breakout level here and no retest. And this is also a sign that gold is really potentially at the end of its parabolic run, because you have a breakout and then it retests that support, continues, breakout, retest, but when it just stops retesting the resistance, when it just breaks out and just continues, eventually that momentum will start to slow down. And one way of for me at least, to judge the slowdown of that momentum is to look at the behavior of the trend, look at the behavior of the price movements. And right now, what we're seeing on gold is that we have a good question here. Who's going to trade the news? Well, in 15 minutes, we'll know. In 15 minutes, we will know. Okay, so we have a low right here on gold. I'm looking at the 1 hour right now. I'm going to go into the 15 minutes. So one interesting thing that I'm seeing right here is a retest of that level right here. So we have a retest right now of 5,519 on gold, as you can see right here. We also have a double bottom right here, double bottom, and a break and retest of that double bottom right here. So if you are a momentum trader and you're looking to ride this trend and you think it's not going to go lower, current levels right here, that's the type of level that a trader like that would maybe potentially enter. Now, what happens if we break below these lows right here? Well, break below these lows right here, we're then in the mode of, thinking level to level, which is, in my case, we're looking at the next support level down here. And that's going to be the area around 5,300. So we have three, in my opinion, important levels to watch right here. The immediate support sits at 5,520. The support below sits at 5,470. And then the support below that is at 5,300. And a lot of things can happen now in the next few minutes when we are waiting for the news. Right, so that's the levels I'm looking at on gold. And if you can read a Bitcoin chart, then you can read this as well. It's the same support and resistance logic, same trend lines, same indicators. There's nothing new here, just a different asset. Now, gold has been moving 2 to 3% recently, and that's, when that happens, a lot of brokers will, like I talked about previously, widen their spreads to basically protect as a protection. But it's not a protection for you. And that's when you need stable trading conditions. And that's really something that we focus on Prime XP, and that's something we 100% stand behind. Now, another very interesting pair that we are going to be switching over to here is Euro USD. We're going to be monitoring that one throughout this news event as well. Looking at the daily on Euro USD, we had an insane move recently, a few days ago, with the so basically Trump went on stage. He started talking about the dollar. He started talking about how he could move the dollar in any direction, and he didn't care about dollar weakness and all of that, right? And what happened with the dollar? Well, look at this. The dollar currency index absolutely is crushed to the downside. I think it's at a 3 or 4 year low right here. And interestingly enough, the dollar currency index that we're watching right here is actually 60% of that, I believe, is in Euro USD. So if you're looking at Euro USD, and then we can actually overlay the dollar currency indices, DXY. You can just do it like that. Then you will see that it is following Euro USD almost perfectly, but inverse correlated. Now, a little secret is you can press Alt+I, and there you go. The Euro USD chart is now reversed, and you can see almost a perfect correlation between the dollar currency index and the Euro USD. And that is why when the dollar dropped, Euro USD went crazy to the upside, and I believe it hit a 3-year high. This is a massive, massive breakout for Euro USD. And if we're watching this from the a high time frame perspective, it is now hitting a major resistance zone right around this area right here. But if we can continue to the upside, we have another level right here, and that's a pretty sizable move for Euro USD. And then personally, I will be looking to fade the rally up around these levels. I think that's going to be, potentially long-term top on the dollar. And like I've said here, the dollar weakness is the big story here in Euro USD. This affects everything priced in dollar, including Euro USD. And the Fed held rates yesterday. The European Central Bank has been cutting rates. So there is a difference here also between the behavior and the policy of the different central banks, and that's a big thing. If you trade in the Forex market, you need to understand the relationship to said currency and the policy of the central banks. But there is really one central bank that is the most important one, and that's the Federal Reserve Bank of the US, which pretty much everyone is in a sense almost forced to follow, except the Japanese central bank. But that's another story that we can take another time, because that's going to require a lot of time to go through. Okay, so We looked at the key levels here for USD on the higher time frames. On the lower time frames, well, it's not really the lower time first, but it's on the daily. If we do have a major pullback, maybe because of the news that we're going to have in 9 minutes, we definitely want to be watching the 1.18600 level right here. That's the breakout level. Going into the 4-hour, we do have, looks like a good demand area right here. Going into the 1-hour, yeah, that's a nice higher low right here. So if this level holds here, we have another one here. And then if we can break out above this level, then a probable target becomes the area around 1.20400. Let me know if you have anything specific you want me to watch. We have the news coming out in 9 minutes, and I will be opening a chart here with multiple chart on it to show you all the reactions to the news while it's happening. And while you're all here, make sure that you do hit that like and subscribe to the channel. And I will be setting all of this up here. Okay. Now we got NASDAQ as well. Of course, you can trade the indices on PrimeXP as well, and NASDAQ obviously is one of the. I like trading NASDAQ because it's quite volatile and it moves quite nicely. And of course, we got the S&P 400 broke into new all-time highs recently as well. And of course, we have the tech earnings, and tomorrow we have Apple as well, which. It's definitely going to be, well, I'm not going to say it's definitely going to be moving the markets, but it definitely have the potential to move the markets. Let's see if I can find the S&P 400 here. As you can see, we had yesterday, S&P 400 broke into new all-time highs. We formed a daily doji candle here at the highs. If the current daily candle closes a bearish candle, we might have a bearish reversal, but the doji here, the resistance is really only confirmed once price breaks below the low of the lowest wick of the doji candle, which hasn't happened. So it's not really, it's just a first warning of potentially resistance, just acting as resistance and a potential reversal, just like we had right here, bearish doji, price breaks the low, and that's where the signal is kind of confirmed from a daily trader's perspective. That would be a wonderful setup back down to support. So that's something to watch for sure today, and of course tomorrow during the earnings calls of AI as well. And just a quick note on NASDAQ and the indices. We have the AI stories driving a lot of the move that we're seeing today, recently on NASDAQ. And these companies are spending absolutely massive amounts on building AI infrastructure. We're talking tens of billions of dollars per quarter. And the interesting thing is how the market's reacting, how the markets reacted differently to each one. We got, Meta showed clear growth from their AI investment, stock went up. Microsoft's AI payout seems just further away, and the stocks went down. Same theme, just different reactions. It's a very dynamic market. And we have also tech and crypto kind of goes together. Historically, Bitcoin has been very correlated to the NASDAQ, but then this is of my personal opinion, of course, and you shouldn't be trading on anything I'm saying here today. You should always be doing your own research. But we have an interesting theme here where the US equities are rallying on the potential of AI and the future that people think is going to be a really big productivity boom based on AI, and we're seeing the signs of that. So that's why the US equities are rallying, right? And then we have gold rallying on geopolitical uncertainty and just the debasement trade, But Bitcoin sits right in between here because Bitcoin is not directly affected by the AI narrative, but Bitcoin is affected by geopolitical uncertainty. Bitcoin is a risk asset. So when the world becomes uncertain, Bitcoin is not the asset to buy. And when the AI industry drives stock prices higher, Bitcoin is not directly getting that AI productivity boom. So Bitcoin is now stagnant while stocks are flying. There's massive volatility in the Forex market because Trump comes out and talks about the dollar. There's massive dollar weakness and it affects the Forex market. So we now have a scenario where gold is rallying, stocks are rallying, indices are rallying, Forex is insanely volatile, and Bitcoin has been flat since November of last year. If you're only trading crypto today, you got to wake up. Okay, you got to wake up because support and resistance is support and resistance in any freely traded market governed by the forces of supply and demand, because that's what horizontal support and resistance is, right? It's just another word for supply and demand. It's a visual way of seeing supply and demand in price. And that's what you've been trading on Bitcoin all the time. If you're not trading commodities, if you're not trading Forex, you're not trading stocks, try it out because there's a lot of volatility you're missing out on. All right, let's go. We got it's 2:27 at my place. Well, in my country, I guess, not just in my place. And we are seeing the news coming out very, very shortly. And I want to be setting up a layout here where we can have all of the different ones. Let's do Bitcoin here. And then we're going to do gold on the top right. We're going to do S&P 500. Are we going to do, yeah, we're going to do S&P 500 at the lower left. And then we're going to do, what are we going to looking at? Let me know. What do you want me to look at? We're going to look at USD maybe. You know what? Let's do USD JPY. That's a very volatile asset. And we're obviously going to go to the 1 minute. Okay. Let's go. Got 2 minutes left for the news. 2 minute, guys. We got 2 minutes left for the news. Let's get ready. Got Bitcoin at the lower left. Let me go in and I'm going to just do this. Right, okay, here we go. Got Bitcoin, S&P 400, USD JPY, and gold. We got the initial jobless claims comes out in 1 minute. We have the previous being 200K. We got the forecast being 205K. And depending on what the actual number is, we can have a very, very volatile. And at the same time as this is happening, we have 3 major companies having their earnings call right now, and then 30 minutes later another earnings call, and then at 1 hour from now we have the ECB, an ECB member speaking, and then 30 minutes after that we have the US factory orders month to month, which is a big thing. And then later we have Trump speaking, and then we have Apple's earnings call. Guys, this is a huge day. This is a huge day in the market, okay? If you're not trading this, I don't know what you're doing. You got to make sure to be ready when the opportunity comes. And right now we do have an opportunity. We've got 2 seconds, 1 second, and there we go. The news is supposed to be out in any second. We got Bitcoin breaking low time for support. We got USD JPY breaking lower. We got gold being unchanged, but USD JPY is the one that we're seeing moving first of everything. So we have the initial jobless claim numbers is now out. It's 209K. It's not as expected, but not a big change, but it is actually higher than forecast. The initial US jobless claims is higher than expected. It's higher than expected. Gold is moving lower. Bitcoin is moving lower. US 500, that's the S&P 500, is moving lower. And we got USD JPY moving lower as well. Now, to trade this, if I would be trading this, we are going to be taking taking a little bit slower here. Yes, of course, we are happy to take your question and help you out. So let me know in the comments, and we will have some time to cover all the questions a little bit later in the live stream. Now, what I'm going to do is I do have this screen up here. We're watching the markets right now, and I will be opening a gold chart, and I'm going to be see if I could potentially get a trade in on gold here live. I'm just looking at the reactions right here. We'll see now that USD JPY is recovering from that low. US 500, S&P 500 is recovering that low time frame reaction as well. The first initial reaction to news, if it's not a huge unexpected release, tends to get reversed. You have the initial reaction, and then most of the time it will reverse. All right, so we're looking at the markets right now, and so when we're looking at the news event, we had the US trade balance coming out now as well. Gold is still fairly heavy, but as you can see here, it's not a major. There's nothing, over the top, unexpected. I think the initial move will be retraced right here. Looking at the S&P 500 right here, that's a beautiful low time frame retest right here. Comes down, retest that level right here, forms a nice pin bar candle right here, big wick to the downside. I'm seeing potentially the S&P 500 going up to 6,995 in the next hour or so. We have gold still on that support right here, and I've got USD JPY. You can really see that because my face is in the way, but as you can see right here, we got USD JPY breaking down right here as well. We got gold recovering at the S&P 500 now breaking out above that high, and I am now waiting for the market to kind of find a footing here and find a potential direction. I'm going to be switching over quickly to EUR/USD. See, okay, EUR/USD is holding these highs right here. No major movements as of now. Okay, so I like gold for a long here, actually. I think we're going to get a 15-minute here. Let me just adjust. Okay, so we got gold breaking down. All right, so now we have EUR/USD breaking down and gold breaking down. Let's see if we can get a recover on gold. S&P 500 breaking out to the upside, EUR/USD coming down lower. Okay, so the two pairs here with volatility is definitely we got gold and EUR USD. Those are the ones that we should be focused on right now. I am looking for a bounce on the euro down at these levels, and I am also looking at gold to recover this move right here as well. I will be wrong below these levels, so anything between current price and down here is for me a buy the dip opportunity. Same thing for USD, considering that it has a similar perspective right now, similar behavior, and that's what I'm looking to do here. I have one position open on gold right now, and I will be buying more as we drop lower until okay. Let's switch over to Prime XPT platform. You see the actual trades. Okay, so the two longs here on gold, as you can see, going into 1 minute. Those are the two longs right here. I'll be switching to Forex here as well. I'm going to go into Euro USD, and look at the spreads. It's amazing spreads on gold. This is it's amazing. And spreads on Euro USD also very, very good, despite this being high volatility time and high impact news event. All right, let's see. Let's start buying. We're buying gold. We're buying Euro USD. The area of interest for me on gold is it's going to be this level. That's the area of interest for me on we're up quite nicely on gold, like that. All right, so we got Euro USD here. Let's remove that one, and we have Euro USD on the top, and then we have gold at the bottom here. Both of them is on the 1 minute here. Let me change the screen here so you can actually see what I am doing here. Gold is not for buying, gold is for sell. Well, we'll see. I think I have a pretty good entry here on gold right now, and I do like what I'm seeing on Euro USD here as well. So it's just a matter of time, and we'll see who is well, we can both be right, and that's the beautiful thing about the markets. I might be exiting this long in 10 minutes, and you'll go short, and we'll both make money. Maybe you'll take my you'll enter my position, and I'll sell it to you. I have a good question here. Since Bitcoin dominance has broken a 3-year structural support on the weekly time frame, would you consider this a major macro signal that the market may be transitioning into a bear market phase? No, I don't think so. So the Bitcoin dominance doesn't really mean anything in isolation. Bitcoin is a risk asset, and it follows the same principles as other risk assets. Okay. So it's the Bitcoin dominance is a very interesting indicator to look at when you look at it, in relationship to altcoins and Bitcoin, but I don't think you would look at that as a macro signal. Now, Bitcoin moves, the overall cyclical moves for Bitcoin is created for the same reason as sorry, I'm looking at all the money we're making. It's distracting. The Bitcoin dominance, good indicator, but not a macro signal. Not what I'll use it for. The Bitcoin moves by the same forces that creates the cycles. Got to buy some more euro here. Wow, that's a nice move. Let's go. That's a nice move right here. Oh man, my position is way too small for USD. Let's go. Right, I'm $50 today. That's nice. Go buy my son some Lego. No, $50 won't get me along with that. Lego's so expensive. Right. I hope I answered your question in a very confusing way, but let me know if you need more clarity on that. But basically what I'm saying is Bitcoin creates its macro cycle for the same reason that the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and other risk assets creates its macro cycle. It's all about central bank policy, government spending, and central bank policy. Did I say that? And liquidity. That's the word, liquidity. Global liquidity. All right. Great to see your Prime. Thank you, man. This must be a follower on Twitter. Yes, and in regards to your other question, I'm not going to bring it up here, but not going to spill the beans yet. But maybe you're onto something there. All right, guys, this is an exciting day. We're long Euro USD on a nice little breakout right here, and we are long gold as well. Let me just check a little website here. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I was live with Anastasia quite a lot. Probably not going to be probably going to be live with her more again. So thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate you coming in here to the live stream, and everyone else coming in here to the live stream. And while you're here, make sure that you do hit that like and subscribe for more trading action like what we're doing right here. Okay, so we're long here on USD. We're long on gold. I'm going to be looking to potentially enter a new position on gold here right now. Yes, there we go. We're long on gold, entering a new position here right now on gold. Looking for a breakout here on USD. If you can get a breakout on USD, currently I will be entering a new position and then start securing the positions that I have open right now. But remember, guys, this can all just turn around in a second. So the money that we're making right now, which is a huge amount of money, is $70, but still, it can turn around very, very quickly. We got to be careful, right? We got to be managing our risk accordingly. I do not have a stop loss in here, which is a huge mistake of mine, but I am managing the positions very carefully. If I move away from my desk with these positions open, then I will be immediately taking profits or closing the positions. I'm never going to leave positions running open without a stop loss if I'm not monitoring the position. The reason why I don't have a stop loss on right now is because I'm trading lower time frames, and the time that it takes for me to enter the values for the stop loss and all of that, a lot of things can change, and I would rather be the one deciding directly what happens with the trade in the moment. So I'm fully confident in that and those abilities, but that's after 10 years of experience. If you're starting out, if you're trying out, first of all, you're probably on a demo, but secondly, use a stop loss. It's the only protection you have against big losses, and it works. All right. Now, I also have to mention that the volatility that we did see across the markets recently. We had we saw competitors increasing the spreads quite dramatically over the course of a few hours. First, we had the speech by Trump. We had insane volatility in the dollar, and brokers increased their spreads to as protections, but at Prime XP, we're keeping the trading conditions stable and making sure that our traders get the best possible trading conditions. All right, so we're going to be closing that one right here. I don't like that reaction at all. Going to be closing Euro USD. We get that's too big of a move to the downside. Closing Euro USD. Looking for bounce right here. Might enter again at these levels. We're going to be taking some profits on these gold trades right here. I'm closing this one right here. P&L for $40. I'll take that. Easy money. We got another $20 right here. I'm going to take that one as well. Easy money. We got someone saying sell USD CAD. Maybe we'll do that. Am I in Euro USD? No, I'm not. Okay, I like that. So let me first just go into the 1 minute right here. We have price hitting. Price is hitting. Why am I scrolling in on the screen? Why am I doing that? I'm not supposed to do that. Right. Okay. So let's see here. Will we have a bullish reaction here on Euro USD? We still have this gold trade right here. Gold is holding up nicely. Euro USD is not doing much, which is good right now, at least. Right. Okay. Okay, I like the reaction on Euro USD. I'm gonna be going. I'm buying Euro USD right here. I like that reaction. Strong move to the downside. Support is holding, getting in here. But if we see continued selling pressure here, I'll have to get out. I'm gonna take the profits on gold here. The volatility is not here. I don't want to be riding a sideways market. I'm taking profits right here. Basically break even on the one of the last positions. So I guess we should be up on a gold trade. Now, if Euro USD is going to be bouncing here, then I'll be looking to secure the position and potentially take some profits at the end of this session out of gold here. I actually did have a plan to follow during the live stream, and then you get right into live trading, and it's just you in the markets. You forget about everything else, right? You guys are traders. You're watching this. You're traders. You know exactly what I mean. It's just you and price. It's you and price. There's nothing else. It's like when you. I don't know if you guys read that book, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. He talks a lot about. Oh, surprise! It talks about trading in the zone. And when you're in that flow state of mind, all that matters is what price is doing. And now price is being bad. It's bad price. Okay, we're reaching the very lows of this area. And I do have obviously a lot of margin left. So I will be opening a new position, averaging into this position. And then, of course, what I'm going to be doing is we break this low and I'm out. There's no question asked. Like there's no hesitation, right? We get out of the position if we start to see sustained price action below this level right here. And that's just, it's the same as using a stop loss, right? When you use a stop loss, you put in a stop loss, price hit it, and you're out. If you're trading like I'm trading right now, you can have the same discipline, right? You see price hit a level, And one positive thing about this is that price might come down and take out your stop loss, but that turns into a wick. So it's kind of like price faking out to the downside, and that's why you want to use fairly wide stops, right? But here I'm not going to have that problem. The only problem I'm going to have is if Trump comes out and says, I'll make the dollar great again or something, then I'm going to get stopped out. Definitely. But I'm liking this. Good reaction, good reaction. Entering a new position here. This is the level, this is the reaction I want. So we have right here, we can see we had the news. So this is the news release, right? This is the news release right here. Then we had move down, move up, and then a strong move to the downside, and price tends to like whipsaw. Good stuff, good stuff. We're in good profit right here. Like what I'm seeing. We have 3 positions open on EUR/USD right here, and I will be looking to take profits on this one at these highs most likely. Just a quick little scalp trade right here. One thing you can be doing also is just, if you feel like you're in a good position right here and you want to secure the position, if you have a low order like this one right here, you can just close that one. And in this case, you'll secure some profits. And in a lot of times, you'll make it so that if price comes down to that level again, you're at break even. And because while trading here, I have multiple screens up, right? So I have multiple charts up. So even though we're watching EUR/USD right here on my on the screen to the right of me here, I'm also monitoring Bitcoin, gold, and the S&P 400 as well. You see where do we have those opportunities? All right, guys, good stuff, good stuff. This is exactly what I want to see from EUR/USD. I'm going to be closing that trade right here. Now we have 1 position, 2 positions open here. And it's waiting to... should we put in a stop loss? Let's put in a take profit. What level do we have on that one? So that is... Let's do 119.77. 119, is it 77 or 67? 119.67. Okay, so we got the TPs at these highs right here, and then I'm gonna put a stop loss here around entry. So we're talking about 19.46. All right, there we go. We're looking at like a 1.5 hour trader. We just closed got some profits out of EUR/USD, got some quick profits out of gold as well. So if this trade hits TP, I'd made $100, right? It's $100, not a lot of money. I didn't add a lot of size on this. I could have easily made $1,000, and this is just in an hour. So if you learn to really understand when is there going to be volatility in the market, try to create 2 scenarios in your mind. A, B, the bullish and the bearish scenario. How do you want to trade that? And when volatility comes, you take advantage of that volatility, because without volatility, we're not going to make any money in trading. It's just, if there's no volatility, there's no trading opportunities, right? And if you're able to catch that volatility and the price moves at the right time, and you know when that's going to happen, because we have the economic news calendar. You can go to PrimeXPT, you can check the Discover tab right here. We're going to leave the trade just a second here, and we're going to be going over to the Discover tab right here at the upper left. We have the Discover tab where you can go through the markets. You can go all the markets right here, and then you can go to we got the traditional markets right here, and then we have the Forex markets right here, and then you also have the get the economic calendar right here, the economic calendar, and this is when you know when all of those economic news calendar, those economic news releases is coming out. So you know when there's going to be volatility in the market. And this economic news calendar that we have built here for you guys is just absolutely fantastic. You can see the on the event chart right here, you can see the actual versus forecast. You can see the price chart, and you can see how price moved on the last news event. You can see the volatility measured in pips, and for those of you who don't know, a pip is the smallest move in the Forex market. So price movements is measured in pips in the Forex market, and then you're also seeing the impact on the historic events. A really good economic news calendar, and then of course we have the trade ideas tab as well. I can't access this one right now. I need to go into my other account to show you that. Actually, I don't know how to show you that. Just go in the PrimeXPT website and check that out for yourself. It's really cool. All right, guys, we are coming to the end of the live stream here, but I'm gonna have this trade open now, because we do have we have the we got stop loss and TP set for this one, and I can't like what I'm seeing right here, so I'm gonna keeping this trade open for now. And in the meantime, we're just gonna be quickly just doing a quick overview of the markets. I'm gonna go back to my main screen here, and we're looking at Bitcoin right here. So Bitcoin right now is quite, what did actually, crypto do while traditional markets reacted to this data? And even though Bitcoin was reacting, but not as much, right? Not as much. And this is what I mean when I say that Bitcoin is kind of caught in the middle right now. We're not getting any of the safe haven buy-in like gold, and we're not getting any of the risk on buying in stocks, well, AI buying in stocks. And the message that I wanted to bring here in today's webinar is that when crypto is quiet, there's going to be action elsewhere, and you can trade both of this from the same platform right on our PrimeXPT trading platform. When crypto starts moving, you go to crypto. When the traditional markets are moving like they are doing right now, you have trading opportunities right there. And the skills that you've built, reading the charts, managing risk, and understanding when the markets and what markets move, they all transfer, right? So they all transfer from crypto to the traditional market. And you don't really need to learn something new. It's all about those technicals. You just need to expand your horizons in trading. And you've seen how where we are a multi-trading platform. You can trade all from one place. You got the stocks, you got Forex, you got commodities, you got indices, you got all alongside the crypto. And if you really want to be acting on some of the things that you saw and some of the things here I did today, this is the way to do it. Same interface you use for crypto, same tools, just more markets. And again, the conditions that you see, they are here and they stay consistent because volatility is not going to change that dramatically with us. And that's the prime expertise way, and that's the difference between us and the competitors out there. All right, guys. I would like to thank you all for joining this live trading session today. If you are watching the replay, feel free to drop all your comments and questions in the comments below, and make sure you can reach out to the team on X. You can you can write to me on X as well if you have any thoughts on today's webinar. If you have any questions on anything that I've talked about today, or if you have any ideas on something that you might want me to cover in next webinar, or maybe record a video on it, drop a message to the Prime Expertise Twitter account or my account on Twitter as well. You're probably going to be finding that one pretty easily as well. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining, everyone, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Have a great Thursday and stay safe out there, and use a stop loss.